It's a husband and wife thrift trip video. He came with me on my normal Wednesday thrift, and now it's the weekend, and we're doing a little more thrifting. I filmed it all. I'm going to show you what I found. I think we found some good stuff, but you be the judge. Without further ado, let's get into the thrifting. Roll the intro. Stopped at our closest Goodwill thrift store first, and of course I'm going to check out the newest carts. I couldn't resist this cheap Mega Bloks green dragon because it has both wings and the rider. But there's really not much sales data or sold comps on eBay for it, but at $250 I think I can find a buyer. In the absence of data, you just have to go with your gut. I did recently sell one of these Midland radios for $19 on eBay, but I only paid $1 for it, so this one is really not worth it to me for resale because they're not worth that much. No good beauty here today, which is the norm, unlike my last thrift trip video where I found a bunch here. They did have some old pins, but other than this official flea market nut one, I wasn't really finding anything worth picking up to resell. This looks super interesting. It's an old Mega Bloks Machines truck. It looks like all the pieces are here and it's only $5.50. It's uncommon enough that I had to open up product research and check the sold comps to find any previous sales data. And it looks like it'll sell for about $30 to $50 on eBay, but I'm gonna go with my gut and ask a little more than that though, since mine is complete and it's the only one currently available. I'm always on the hunt for cheap things to keep my kids busy. They basically riot if their brain isn't focused on a task, and they love making stuff, so craft kits are a must. $1.50 ornament kits will do the trick. Sometimes though, these vintage ornament kits are worth money to resell, but don't worry, these ones weren't super valuable. As much as I try to be, I'm really not a huge DVD reseller. I might look it over once in a while though, and I sometimes find something. My husband though is way more into that niche for reselling, but neither one of us find anything today. The rise and fall of the Ray Dunn aesthetic needs to be studied because this stuff is at every thrift store. I did find a good plush here over the summer, and I have a whole reel lined up about it to go once it sells, but I'm stuck at the it's really rare and expensive, and that limits me to like 5 people who might buy it on eBay territory, so I just have to wait it out. I like to select a free box to take home and use it to ship something I sold on eBay. This HelloFresh box should be the perfect size for something large. Really didn't get much from thrift stop number 1, so let's try thrift stop number 2. This Goodwill has been trash for toys ever since they moved locations. It's always barren and I can't find any good toys. So I checked the fresh stock cart and found an overpriced toy bag. But this is an uncommon Dare to Hair Polly Pocket doll, so maybe I can lot up some of the dolls in here and do okay for resale. I will look up seasonal Wilton, especially if it's new. I've done well on that in the past. These will probably not sell till closer to Halloween, but they are only $3, and at the time there was only 1 listed and 2 sold on eBay, so the resale data was favorable. I was heavily debating this White Barn oil warmer when I heard a new cart pushed out, so I immediately put a pin in that thought and went to go look. Seems like someone donated their whole Pillsbury Doughboy collection. I kind of put Doughboy stuff up there with the M&M stuff. Like, there's collectors, but it's oversaturated and the stuff really doesn't sell well on eBay, except for like maybe a few obscure pieces. I couldn't resist the vinyl doll though. This pink glass lamp probably would have found a buyer on eBay, but I couldn't comp it and I have zero interest in selling a bulky glass lamp base, so I'm gonna leave this treasure here for someone else to find. Even more Ray Dunn that no one wants. I originally thought this was recently made based on the Italian brain rot meme, but apparently it predates it. I thought that was a very strange coincidence, and maybe I can make content about it, or I can market it as a brain rot lunch bag for resale on eBay, so I decided to take a chance on it. My husband grabbed some goodies, and I also grabbed a Capri Blue pumpkin candle at an extremely overpriced $8, but Capri Blue stuff does tend to sell well on eBay, and that's all we got at stop 2. Let's move on to thrift stop number 3. But not before stopping for lunch. I am way too enthusiastic about eating at a gas station, but I love Sheetz and I don't care who knows it. They have a decent refresher and I can't find these broccoli cheese bites anywhere else. On to thrift stop number 3, and the showcase has nothing for me. They just have a bunch of Impressions perfumes and that overpriced Amazon Hermes that was here last time I was here. I run into so much Garfield stuff while thrifting. Some of it has value and some of it doesn't. There are a lot of Garfield collectors. If these weren't $15, I might be interested, but currently they kind of fall into the not having resale value category. Gave the fresh cart of breakables a once over, but I didn't notice anything I wanted today, so I checked the fresh stock carts, and I also didn't find anything of interest here either. This little Tykes truck would be worth grabbing to resell on eBay if it came with the car and gas pump it's supposed to haul. The truck by itself really doesn't seem to sell. This Spider-Man web shooter is from 2009, and under the UPC there is one listed and none sold on eBay. But I've done well with other older Spider-Man stuff on eBay, so for $6, I'm gonna pick it up. I was actually extremely distracted here since I had my mind on other things, namely getting my hands on Tame Impala tickets that went on sale at noon. I flew out to see him in Chicago during the first leg of the tour last year, and he added more dates, one of which is only 90 minutes from me, so I had to go again. I did not have luck with Ticketmaster the first time around, getting a super unfavorable queue number and having to buy a resale ticket. Not this time though, I was blessed with a favorable low queue number and I was able to buy some great tickets at face value. I don't care if I find anything else today because I used up all my luck winning the Ticketmaster war. Checked some bags of baby powder for talc, but none of these contain any, because the talc ones are worth money. This plush was giving vintage, and it is. It's a 1985 Need a Little's puppy. I wasn't expecting there to be a butt hanging out though. The listed to sold ratio on eBay is crazy for this, and not in a good way. Plenty listed and like one sold. Not worth grabbing for resale, and also it's missing the pacifier. My husband wanted this Carhartt coat, but not for $80. If we're lucky, there will be a half off day this weekend and we could grab it then. We didn't grab too much here today, but like I said, I feel like I've used up all my luck for the day, so I'm probably not going to be doing well. Next stop is the Goodwill bins. Based on the name, I was hoping for some super cool vintage pencils, but these were just kind of underwhelming and not worth picking up for resale. I couldn't resist grabbing this Disney Descendants Carlos doll though. I've taught my husband to pick up certain dolls, but this one isn't good, and she's missing her hand, so back she goes. I will grab this Luffy toy though. Figures are super cheap at the Goodwill bins, and I actually ended up selling him on eBay already for $15. Some Dixie cups new in the box are worth money. I don't think these are old enough or visually interesting enough though. It's so weird seeing things at the bins that are brand new, like no one ever opened them or used it first. It lived its entire life completely unused. All the data on this is used copies that are presumably void of the toys, so I want to pick this up and see what I can get for it on eBay as an unused copy. They called for a bins change, and how that works at my location is everyone has to vacate that half of the store while they swap out about 9 bins. Everyone lines up and waits, and they're very strict about everyone having to walk when it's time to go see them. I really don't understand why other Goodwill bins locations are so chaotic. Like, it's not hard to enforce rules about walking and not shoving. And as you can see, it works because everyone walks over in order and selects a bin to pick through, no trouble at all. I didn't grab much of anything here either, but my husband found a bunch of media to resell in the fresh bin. So let's go next door to the regular Goodwill. Shocker, I found nothing because I truly did use up all my luck today getting concert tickets, but that's completely okay. That's just how it goes sometimes. Luckily, we decided to do some more thrifting on Friday to try and salvage this video, which up till now has been pretty light on the thrift finds if you ask me, but I promise it gets better. I don't really do many shoes. My husband does, but specifically Converse, especially the ones that are oddly colored or textured, and I think these velvety pink ones fit the bill for resale. I found yet another fiber optic flower. This was the same location I found the last one at. Are they worth money? Yes and no. It just depends on the specific model and size, but it's a niche I've grown to love, so I'm gonna lean into it. A talking tree that's trying to be a Douglas fir, but could never be a Douglas fir. Finally, I get to show you something interesting. This was giving Hallmark vibes, and I've had great luck with some Hallmark battery-operated decorations on eBay in the past. It was in fact Hallmark, and this one looks like it'll do well as any of the other 4 from this set, but it might take until Christmas to get the best price. This was a retro-styled modern CD player that I just thought was really cute and marketable in this pink color, and it was only $6.55. I sold it on eBay for $40. Yet again, my husband found more stuff than me, but I found some good stuff too. On to our next thrift stop, which is another Goodwill. I've been having great luck with Gilbert products on eBay, and this one is new in the box, so even though there's not an exact comp, I have enough circumstantial evidence that this is going to do really well for me on eBay. My husband grabbed a Champion hoodie. I don't know anything about that, so I'll just have to trust his judgment. He also snagged some stuff I would have picked up, like a V-Smile, a CD player, and a Star Wars Nerf blaster. Sometimes what we like to buy and sell overlaps, and sometimes it doesn't. But we're a team and it all goes back to our family anyway, so it's hard to be upset that you weren't the one to grab it first. I thought this top was kind of cute and I wanted to try it on, but I kept going back and forth with whether or not it was black or dark blue. It definitely looks black, and at first glance it looks quite black on camera, but in person and compared to my black jacket, you can kind of see what I mean. I asked my husband his opinion and he also thought it might be really dark blue. I think it might clash too much with the black jeans I would wear with it, so I left it. Selected a nice oversized free box, and we're off to the next thrift store. I keep finding stuff today that I find interesting but has no data whatsoever. I can't even find a picture of this toy anywhere online. But I like to gravitate towards the weird stuff like that, and I think it's cute and someone might want it, so I'm gonna grab it. I asked to see this Calico Critters box, but it ended up being $80, and I don't think that's gonna be worth it. Yet again, husband outpicks me, and I only found one thing. We were lucky and they did give us a half off day this weekend, so maybe I'll have better luck at the thrift we were just at on Wednesday. We were there bright and early to see if we could snag that Carhartt coat for half off, but sadly it was already gone. I still don't know what they saw in this troll bag to ask $80, even half off at $40. I don't think it's worth it. I looked them up on eBay and I just couldn't see it, so if there's something here I'm not seeing, let me know. Always on the lookout for split color ping balls while thrifting. I've only ever found one, and that was a long time ago, so I'm due to find another one. Some have value and some don't. It varies quite a lot on eBay. I like to get MagiQuest wands that have interesting toppers. Do they sell for a ton of money? No, but are they usually super cheap? Yes. This one didn't have an official price, and I think they gave it to me for $1.50 at the register. I feel like I've seen these banks around, and this one is new in the box for just $4 today. I ended up selling it quite quickly on eBay for 40 bucks. My husband was looking at this bag, and since he put it down, I picked it up because I knew what this was. I've sold many Tiger Brain Warps over the years, and the prices just keep going up. Only $2.50 today, and I sold it on eBay for $70. Just incredible. I will look up Lakeshore Learning stuff to resell. This one's only $4 today, and it's complete with all the pieces, so I think I can probably get like 25 on eBay. This Laneige mini kit I'm gonna keep for myself. I slug my lips with these masks every night, and I haven't paid full retail for one in years because I keep finding them all the time when I'm out thrifting. And even the small pots last super long. For once, it seems like we both got an equal number of thrift finds. We went back home for the rest of the morning and stopped at the same Goodwill thrift that we stopped at on Wednesday. I checked the fresh carts, but I didn't find anything worth it. I remember when these iHomes were the coolest thing ever and they were like $70 brand new. I sold so many of them when I worked at Toys R Us. And now they're basically everywhere and worthless on the resale market. Heard a couple of new carts getting shoved out and quickly went to go check them, but again, there wasn't anything worth picking up to resale, at least not for me. So I went back to the electronics and I found a Sony combo player for $5.50. I sold this super quickly on eBay for 90 bucks. I have an item I sold on eBay that I need to ship this morning, and I think this free box will be just the perfect size. My husband found a bunch of officially licensed Five Nights at Freddy's shirts, so that's pretty neat. Got back home and the box was indeed the perfect size. We went back out thrifting after lunch to the other half off location. This location's showcase is usually much better, but it's because the stuff is more expensive. For example, this Barbie bag is $60. But even half off, I'm not seeing anything worth it for resale for me. I did see something that looked worth it in this Dalmatian bag though. It would only be $10 and it had a laying IKEA plush. And it's not super common, there's only one listed and one sold in November for $50 on eBay, so I'm willing to go for it as a resale pickup. This Coolpix looks super promising for $60, but unfortunately, that's still too high for what it actually sells for on eBay, so I'm gonna have to pass. One of the double-edged swords with this store is they have a lot of stuff in the showcase to look through, unlike the last location. But there's so much of it, it becomes harder to actually look through it and spot good stuff. A lot of things are buried under each other, so you need to be annoying and ask the worker to dig out a bunch of stuff, and 9 times out of 10, it was never anything good anyway. I asked for another couple bags. I'd like to have this cut and style Rapunzel Barbie. I'd pay no more than $15 for this bag, but unfortunately it's $80, so even half off is not going to be worth it to me for resale. The same thing with this bag of 18-inch doll clothes. I looked up what I could and I'd pay maybe 15 tops for the bag, but again, it's $80 and even half off, it's going to be far too much. My husband chose House Ryobi and therefore loves all things Ryobi. This lock for $9 would have been really great, but it's missing the battery that goes with it, and without the battery, it doesn't have a lot of resale value. If it was new with the battery, we probably would have grabbed it. Spotted this big bag of mini perfumes, $30 for the whole bag. Even if I couldn't pick out a single one that would be worth reselling individually, the bulk alone to me tipped the scales, so I decided to grab it. I pulled off a bunch worth selling individually, like this micro mini Shalimar that I sold for $25, and this other little guy that I sold for $30 on eBay. Most went into a bulk lot that I sold on Etsy for $80. So this was a great thrift store resale pickup. The hair tools bin was such a tangled mess that I couldn't even pick through it. I am almost positive I've sold this Tree Hut Brazil nut butter before. The Brazil nut line has been discontinued for years now. I sold it for $50 on eBay. Much like the stuff behind the showcase, the shelves are just as jam-packed, and that makes it harder to dig for good stuff. I can't resist a Crabtree set for $1.50. The gel and the lotion were dried out, but the soap and the talc were just fine, and I sold them for $20 on eBay. This MAC powder named Lily White did not have any comps, but similar sized MAC powders did around $40, which made the buy cost of this $7.50 bag worth it. Once I got home, I checked the 3-year sales data on eBay, and it turns out that Lily White is quite rare and I should do really great on it. I can't believe this big normal will only be $3. It isn't very common, and I feel I can get $40 or $50 on eBay in this condition. The marker on the tail looked washable, and I was right. It came right off when I washed it at home. Immediately noticed a Yarn Yoshi amiibo in this other plush bag that was only $3, so that's absolutely going to be worth grabbing to resell. Then in the blankets, I found something for my son, a reversible Minecraft blanket for his bed for just $4. He's gonna love it. Lastly, my husband found an embroidered Carhartt coat for only $15. It would probably sell fine even with the embroidery, but I ended up taking the time to remove it, and now it looks even better. We ended up with an overflowing cart between the two of us, so of course, the best stop happened to be the last one. My husband grabbed a bunch of video game systems for resale, and it looked like we were going to walk out with the whole store with all these bags. Nothing better than a good thrift trip with your best friend of 20 years. When I got home and started tearing into the bags, the MAC powder one had some sealed Bath & Body Works lip products that I can lot up and probably pay for the whole bag. And I've never heard of Augustinus Bader, but it's pretty pricey stuff, and this little sample alone is worth $10 on eBay. Out of all the perfumes, these were my favorite find. Super cute 10 out of 10 trinkets, and also pretty rare. I asked a lot for them. That perfume bag was probably my best find of this whole video, but the plush bag also held surprises. Probably another $20 for this Pusheen plush on eBay, and I already sold this Wall-E Eve plush for another $20. And maybe I can get another $20 from this pack of coasters. And if that wasn't good enough to end this on, not only was there a green Yarn Yoshi amiibo, but there was a pink one too, and that one already sold for $25. And inside one of my husband's video game systems, he found a game that'll pay for the whole system on eBay. Truly the perfect end to this Goodwill thrifting and reselling video. I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe for more full-time reseller content. Now get out there, have fun, and find something good.